Do you know why the fifth day of the fifth lunar month is the Dragon Boat Festival? Why do we eat zheangzhi? Why do we have dragon boat races?
The origin of the Dragon Boat Festival, the fifth day of the fifth lunar month every year. It is one of the most important traditional festivals in China, the Dragon Boat Festival. This festival has a history of more than 2,000 years. There is a touching story behind it. Today, I will tell you this story in its entirety. A special date. First of all, we need to know the exact time of the Dragon Boat Festival. The Dragon Boat Festival is fixed on the fifth day of the fifth lunar month, because the traditional Chinese lunar calendar is based on, calculated by the round and short changes of the moon. So it's in the Gregorian calendar, which is the Gregorian calendar in the world. The date is different every year. Generally speaking, the Dragon Boat Festival falls between the end of May and the middle of June on the Gregorian calendar. For example, the Dragon Boat Festival in 2026 is on June 19th in the Gregorian calendar. This day holds a special significance in the hearts of the Chinese people, as important as Christmas is to Westerners. The protagonist of the two stories, Ku Yuan, the protagonist of this story, called Ku Yuan about 340 BC to 78 BC. He was over 2,000 years ago, a great poet and statesman of the Warring States period in China. At that time, China was divided into 7 countries. Chu Yanhan Hao Weikan. Ku Yuan lived in the southern state of Chu. As a minister under King Huai of Chu, Ku Yuan is very talented. He advocates reforming politics, united with other nations to resist the powerful state of Qin. However, there were some officials in the court who were jealous of him. They said a lot of bad things about Ku Yuan in front of King Huai of Chu. King Huai of Chu listened to the slander, gradually alienated Ku Yuan. Finally, he was exiled to a remote place. The tragedy of the destruction of the 3 kingdoms. After being exiled, Ku Yuan did not give up his concern for the country. He wandered along the Yangtze and Shang rivers. He wrote beautiful poems as he walked, express his deep love for his country and people. His most famous works include Li Sao, 9 Songs, Tianwen, etc. These poems are still read by the Chinese to this day. But then tragedy struck. 278 BC. The powerful army of Qin broke through the capital of Chu, near Jingzhou City, Hubei Province, where Yingdu is today. After Ku Yuan heard the news, he was devastated. He feels that his country has perished. There is no meaning in living. He doesn't want to see his hometown occupied by the enemy. I don't want to be a prisoner of the enemy. The 4 threw themselves into the river and were martyred on the 5th day of May that year. Ku Yuan came alone to the Miluo River in Hunan. He was wearing a long white robe and hugged a stone, step by step to the depths of the river. He looked up at the sky and recited his last verse aloud. Then I jumped into the billowing river. In this way, the great poet took his own life, used death to express his loyalty to his motherland. The rescue and remembrance of 500 surnames. After the local people heard the news that Ku Yuan had thrown himself into the river, very shocked and saddened, they came to the river in small boats, hoping to find Ku Yuan's body. But the river is too deep and too urgent. They searched for a long time and couldn't find it. In order to prevent the fish and shrimp in the river from eating Ku Yuan's body, so they figured out a way. They threw rice, eggs and other food into the river. I hope the fish and shrimp will not bite Ku Yuan's body when they are full. There was also an old doctor who poured a jar of realgar wine into the river. It is said that realgar wine can poison the flood dragons and water monsters in the river. This way they won't hurt Ku Yuan. Since then, every year on the 5th day of May, the local people will spontaneously do the same thing, rowing to the river to find Ku Yuan, throwing food into the river. This habit is slowly spreading. Eventually it became a common holiday custom across China. The birth of 6 rice dumplings about the food thrown into the river. There's another important development. At first people simply threw rice. But then one night, someone dreamed that Ku Yuan stood by the river and said to him, "The rice you gave me was stolen by the flood dragon in the river. If you will offer me rice as a sacrifice in the future, please wrap it in neem leaves." The outside is wrapped with colorful silk thread. These two things are afraid of jiaolong, so people started wrapping glutinous rice in bamboo or reed leaves. Make a triangle shape. The outside is tied with colored silk thread. This food is the zongzi that Chinese eat today. After thousands of years of development, there are more and more types of zongzi, and red dates can be wrapped in them. Bean paste, salted egg yolk, pork, etc. Southerners like salty meat dumplings. Northerners prefer sweet jujube dumplings. The origin of the 7 dragon boats. At the same time, the activity of rowing in search of kuyuan has also changed. At first it was just a simple salvage operation. Later, people decorated the boat to look like a dragon and held a competition. This is the origin of dragon boat racing. A dragon boat is a long, narrow wooden boat. The bow is carved in the shape of Jackie Chan's head, and the stern is a dragon tail. Dozens of rowers sat on the boat. They paddle neatly to the beat of the drum. It was spectacular. Race. Dragon boating has become an international sporting event today, not only in China, but also in Chinese communities around the world. Even some Western countries can see this activity. Other customs besides eating zongzi and racing dragon boats. There are many other customs during the Dragon Boat Festival. Wormwood and calamus, 2 herbs that people hang on their doorways. Think they can ward off evil spirits and avoid epidemics. There is actually some scientific truth to this. Mosquitoes breed in summer. The smell of these plants does have a repellent effect. They put on sachets, little sacks of spices. It contains clove angelica, peppermint and other Chinese herbal medicines. It can not only emit aroma, but also prevent disease. Drink realgar wine. Adults will drink a little realgar wine. It is said to detoxify. However, modern medicine has proven that realgar is poisonous. Most people don't drink it anymore. Instead, use ordinary rice wine instead. Well, adults will use realgar wine. Write the word king on the forehead of the child, like the pattern on a tiger's forehead. It means that the child is as healthy and strong as a tiger. 9 other legends. Although Kuyuan's story is the most widely circulated version of the Dragon Boat Festival, but in different parts of China, people also remember other people. In Jiangsu and Hejiang, people commemorate Wu Zixu. He was a doctor in Wu during the spring and autumn period. He was killed by the king of Wu for being framed by a traitor. The body was thrown into the river. It is said that he became the god of the river after his death. People also commemorate him on the 5th day of May. In Shaoxing, Hejiang, Kaoi is commemorated. She is a girl of 14. Father drowned in river. She cried along the river for 17 days. Finally, on the 5th day of May, he threw himself into the river to find his father. 5 days later, her body was found surfacing with her father's body in her arms. This story, it embodies filial piety, which is very important in traditional Chinese culture. All these different legends have one thing in common. They are all about loyalty and patriotism. Filial piety is related to these noble qualities. This is also why the Dragon Boat Festival, the reason why it can last for more than 2,000 years. The Dragon Boat Festival is in modern times, and now, the Dragon Boat Festival is not only a traditional festival for the Chinese people, it is also an important festival in the Chinese cultural circle. Year 2009. UNESCO. The Dragon Boat Festival was officially included in the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This means that the whole world has admitted the cultural value of this festival. On the Dragon Boat Festival, no matter where the Chinese are, will try to go home to be with their families. Everyone makes songzi, eats songzi, and watches the dragon boat race. The school will tell children the story of Kuyuan, teach them to recite Kuyuan's poems. The supermarket is full of zongzi of all flavors. A lively dragon boat race was broadcast live on TV. The whole of China is immersed in an atmosphere that was both solemn and joyous. Conclusion. The story of the Dragon Boat Festival tell us that a person who truly loves his country and people, even if you die, you will be remembered for generations to come. Although Kuyuan has been away from this world for more than 2,000 years, but the spirit he left behind was loyalty to his country. the pursuit of truth and love for the people. It still inspires every Chinese person to this day. And every year on the 5th day of May, it is the collective memory of all Chinese people, the days of the great poet. The next time you see dumplings and dragon boats, hope, you can also think of this beautiful story from ancient China. It's not just a festival about food, it's more about loyalty, festival of courage and love.